The rain hammered the cracked asphalt of rural Ohio like fists of judgment. But inside the old Victorian house on Elm Street, 16-year-old Elias Hawthorne felt the real storm brewing in his chest. He clutched the faded diary, its leather cover slick with his own sweat, as thunder rattled the window words from a life he shouldn't remember, a confession that could shatter everything. "I locked you away to save myself," he whispered to the empty room, the name on the page burning like a brand, Jamal. Elias had always known he was different, the kind of different that small-town whispers turned into shouts. In the suffocating grip of 1950s Appalachia was it this life, bleeding into now. He'd been the heir to a tobacco empire, a golden boy with a silver spoon and a secret that festered like rot. The diary, unearthed from his grandmother's attic just yesterday, wasn't some relic. It was a mirror to his soul, pages yellowed but alive with the ink of regrets he hadn't inked. Jamal Reed, his shadow, his shield, the man he'd betrayed not once but twice across the veil of lives. In that past echo, Elias had been Elijah Hawthorne, 22 and terrified, son of a firebrand preacher who preached hellfire for souls like his. Jamal, 24, broad-shouldered and unbreakable, had been hired as protection after threats from bigots who'd caught wind of Elijah's wandering eyes in the church choir. But love doesn't kneel to fear. One stolen kiss in the hayloft, under the moon's indifferent gaze, and Elijah's world cracked open. He'd panicked. The diary's words clawed at him now. "I couldn't face Father's wrath, the town's pitchforks. So I framed him whispers of theft, a planted silver watch, and watched them drag him to that godforsaken county jail." Elias slammed the book shut, his heart slamming against his ribs like a caged bird. The lightning outside forked the sky, illuminating the faded wallpaper of his childhood home, now a museum to his mother's endless grief after Dad's mill accident last year. He was Elias now, not Elijah, reborn or cursed into this modern skin. 17 in the summer of 2023, with a lanky frame that still tripped over its own feet and eyes too old for his face. But the memories, they flooded in waves, unbidden, since puberty's cruel awakening. Therapy sessions with Dr. Lena called it vivid delusions, but Elias knew better. Reincarnation wasn't fairy tale. It was his hellish inheritance. Downstairs, the front door creaked open, and Elias froze. Footsteps, heavy and sure, ascended the stairs as Mom, probably home late from her nursing shift, carrying the weight of bills and unspoken dreams. But no, these steps were different, deliberate, like they owned the shadows. A knock rattled his door, soft but insistent. "Elias, you up?" The voice was deep, laced with gravel and warmth, a timbre that twisted his gut into knots. He knew that voice. God, he knew it. Pushing the diary under his pillow, Elias cracked the door. There stood Jamal, no, not the ghost from the page, but a man who could be his twin across time. Mid-20s, maybe 25, with skin like polished mahogany, a fade haircut sharp as his jawline, and those hazel eyes that pierced straight to the marrow. He wore a black hoodie zipped against the rain, jeans hugging powerful legs, and a duffel slung over one shoulder. Water dripped from his lashes, but he smiled small, guarded, like he was testing the air for traps. "Your mom said I could crash here tonight. Roads are flooded out on Route 23. Name's Jamal Reed. Mechanic from down in Cincinnati." Elias's throat closed like a vice. It couldn't be. Not here. Not now. In this life where he'd vowed to rewrite the script. But the diary's echo laughed. "Fate's a cruel jester. Boy, he always finds you." "Why, yeah," Elias stammered, stepping back, his voice a boy's crackle against Jamal's baritone. "Come in. It's fine." As Jamal ducked inside, the room shrank, the air thick with the scent of rain and something earthier, like fresh-turned soil after a storm. Elias's pulse thundered. In the past, he'd chained this man with lies. In this life, fate had unchained him, delivered him to Elias's doorstep like a gift wrapped in barbed wire. But why? To atone. Or to break him all over again. Jamal dropped his duffel by the bed. Obliviouser was he to the war raging in Elias's head. He peeled off the hoodie, revealing a fitted tee that clung to the ridges of his chest. Muscles honed from years of wrenching engines, and Elias's traitorous mind supplied from surviving betrayals. Rough night, Jamal said, rubbing the back of his neck, his biceps flexing in the lamplight. Appreciate the floor space. You got a name besides the kid who stares. Elias. He managed, forcing a laugh that sounded like choking. Sorry. Just not used to guests. Lies. He'd dreamed of this man every night since the memory started. Fevered visions of stolen touches and shadowed barns. Of Jamal's laugh rumbling like thunder before the fall. In that other life, Elijah had freed him eventually too late. After the trial, after the bars had bent Jamal's spirit into something wary and walled off. A hushed pardon, bought with daddy's money. But the damage? Irreparable. Jamal had vanished into the night, leaving Elijah to his hollow throne, haunted by what-ifs until death claimed him young, heart failing under the weight of unspoken love. Now, here they were, echoes made flesh in a world that had cracked open its own closets. Gay marriage legal, pride flags fluttering in Cleveland streets. But small towns like theirs, still minefields. Elias watched Jamal settle on the rug, back against the bed frame, pulling out a worn paperback Steinbeck. Of all things. The irony stung. Of mice and men, dreams crushed under heels. You read that? Elias blurted, needing to fill the silence before it swallowed them. Jamal glanced up, eyes crinkling at the corners. Yeah. George and Lenny buddies against the world. Breaks my heart every time. His voice softened, a vulnerability peeking through the armor. You ever feel like you're running from something you can't name? Elias's breath hitched. Did he know? No. Impossible. This Jamal was new-forged, a stranger with a familiar soul. All the time, Elias whispered, sliding down the wall opposite him, knees drawn up like a shield. The rain drummed on, a relentless heartbeat. And in that moment, Elias made a vow. This time, he'd free him from the start. No chains, no betrayals. But as Jamal's gaze lingered, warm and searching, Elias felt the first tug not of guilt, but of something deeper, a heart thread pulling taut. Freedom was the easy part, holding back from the fall. That would be the real prison. The night stretched, confessions hovering like ghosts. Jamal shared snippets growing up in a fractured Cincinnati foster system, finding solace in engines that didn't judge, drifting north for work after a bad breakup with a guy who'd bailed when things got real. Love's a gamble, he said, voice low, flipping a page he wasn't reading. Sometimes you win big. Sometimes it leaves you stranded. Elias nodded, throat tight, the diary's weight pressing from under the pillow. He wanted to spill at all the past life, the imprisonment, the ache that had followed him here. But words failed, tangled in fear of the madhouse labeled DR. Lena dangled like a threat. Instead, Elias talked school the closeted crushes on the soccer captain, the Bible thumpers in youth group who eyed him like sin incarnate. Jamal listened, really listened, his presence a bomb and a blaze. When lightning cracked again, close enough to smell the ozone, Jamal shifted closer, their knees brushing. Hey, he murmured, you don't have to carry it alone. His hand, calloused and steady, covered Elias's for a heartbeat electric. Forbidden. Everything. Elias pulled away, not from revulsion, but terror of the floodgates. I need air. He bolted to the window, shoving it open to the storm's roar, rain kissing his face like absolution. Behind him, Jamal sighed, the sound heavy with unspoken understanding. The hook was set. Elias was reeled in, past and present colliding in a maelstrom of what he'd done and what he yearned to undo. Dawn crept in gray and reluctant. But sleep. It evaded them both. Two souls circling the truth like moths to a flame that could consume. By morning, the floodwaters receded, but the deluge in Elias's soul raged on. Jamal rose early, brewing coffee in the cramped kitchen while Elias's mom, Sarah, bustled about. Her nurse's scrubs crisped despite the hour. She was a sturdy woman in her 40s, lines etched by loss and love, with Elias's blue eyes and a laugh that could coax sun from clouds. "Jamal, you angel," she teased, accepting the mug. "Elias, honey, you look like you wrestled a bear. Everything okay?" "Fine, Mom." Elias forced a grin, but his eyes darted to Jamal, who leaned against the counter, steam curling around his face like a halo. The man moved with an easy grace, pouring sugar with fingers that had once in memory traced Elijah's spine in the dead of night. Elias's cheeks burned. He busied himself with toast, the knife slipping in his grip. One nick, a bead of blood, and Jamal was there in an instant. Tissue pressed gentle. "Easy, kid. World's not out to bleed you dry." The touch lingered, a spark that jumped from skin to soul. Sarah bustled out for her shift, oblivious, leaving them in charged silence. "You heading out?" Elias asked, voice small, dreading the empty echo Jamal's absence would leave. Jamal shrugged, rinsing his mug. "Roads are clear, but got a job interview in town later. Auto shop's hiring. Figured I'd stick around if it's cool." His eyes met Elias's, holding steady question, invitation, mirror to the past. Elias nodded, heart leaping. "Stick around." The words were a lifeline, but also the noose tightening. The day unfolded in fits of normalcy laced with undercurrents. Elias dragged Jamal to the local library, a squat brick building with creaky stacks smelling of dust and forgotten stories. "Research," Elias mumbled, cheeks flushing as he led them to the genealogy section. Truth was, he needed proof anything to anchor the diary's madness. Jamal browsed nearby, pulling a book on Ohio history, his brow furrowing at a passage on 1950s labor strikes. Ever think about how the past echoes? Like, folks fighting for scraps then, and we're still scrapping now. Elias's fingers trembled on a microfiche machine, scanning Hawthorne family records. They're Elijah Hawthorne, obit 1957, untimely heart ailment. And a footnote. Buried, local man Jamal Reed released from custody amid controversy. The room spun. "Jamal," he breathed, turning. What if we knew each other before?" Jamal chuckled, soft and disbelieving. Like déjà vu. Or that soulmate crap. But his laugh faded as Elias slid the diary across the table, open to the incriminating page. Jamal's eyes scanned, widened, then narrowed in a storm of emotion shock, recognition flickering like a match in wind. This is some kind of joke, right? You wrote this." "No." Elias's voice cracked. "It's me, Elijah. I put you in jail. To hide us. I'm so sorry." The words tumbled, a dam breaking the kiss in the hayloft. The framed accusation. The hollow years after. Jamal's face drained of color, then flushed with fury, his chair scraping back loud enough to draw a librarian's glare. "You think this is funny?" Jamal hissed, voice a whip. "Playing mind games with some reincarnated bullshit. I came here for a bed. Not this," he gestured wildly at the book. "At Elias. pain raw in his eyes. But beneath it, something shifted memory. Or just the pull of kindred pain. He grabbed the diary, devouring pages, his breath ragged. Minutes stretched. Then, a whisper, the watch. Silver. Engraved JR. I never stole shit. But they said. God. The cell smelled like piss and regret. Elias reached. Tentative. It's real. And this time, I swear, Jamal yanked back, but didn't flee. This time, you got no idea what you're dragging me into, kid. Yet he stayed, flipping pages, the library's hush amplifying their shared ghosts. Outside, thunder rumbled anew, a promise of storms yet to break. Elias had hooked him, but the line was fraying. Love's redemption demanded more than words, it craved action. Trust rebuilt brick by aching brick. As dusk fell, they walked home in taut silence, the diary a burning coal between them. Jamal's strides were long, Elias scrambling to match, the air thick with unsaid pleas. At the house, Sarah was out again double shift. Her note said, "Be good. Loves." Inside, tension crackled like live wire. Jamal paced the living room, fists clenched, while Elias perched on the couch, small and exposed. Why tell me? Jamal finally exploded, whirling. To ease your guilt. Some cosmic do-over. His voice broke, revealing the wound not just past, but present scars from lovers who'd used and discarded. Because I freed you in my dreams, Elias said, rising, tears hot. But here, I want to free us both. He stepped closer, heart hammering, and Jamal didn't retreat. The space between shrank 2 inches, breaths mingling grain-scented, desperate. Then, Jamal's hand cupped Elias's jaw, thumb rough against soft skin, eyes searching for lies and finding none. This is insane, Jamal murmured, forehead pressing to Elias's. But damn if it doesn't feel right. The kiss came fierce, a collision of lifetime slips crashing, hands fisting shirts, the world narrowing to this. Elias tasted salt, his own tears and Jamal's unspoken forgiveness, bodies pressing with the urgency of the damned. They broke apart gasping, Jamal's arms caging Elias against the wall. Protective, possessive. Not here, Jamal growled, voice husky. Not like this. We do it right. He pulled back, eyes dark with promise, and Elias nodded, dazed, alive in ways the diary never captured. That night, they talked till stars wheeled, Jamal's foster tales mirroring the jailed isolation, Elias's closet fears echoing Elijah's terror. Dawn found them curled on the couch, Jamal's arm heavy over Elias's waist, a tentative bridge across the chasm. But fate, that sly fox, wasn't done. The interview. A bus shop owner spouting no felons under his breath. A ghost from Jamal's juvie record. Not the past life, but close enough to sting. See, Jamal muttered on the walk home. Rain starting again. Some chains don't rust. Elias's fury ignited. He marched them to the county clerk, demanding records, piecing the puzzle. Turns out, Jamal's felony was a sealed juvenile beef shoplifting bred at 15. Foster kid hunger. We fight it, Elias declared, fire in his veins. Together. Jamal's laugh was bittersweet. You, the white boy savior. Town'll eat you alive. But his hand squeezed Elias's, the touch saying what pride barred. They filed the appeal that afternoon, Elias's mom signing as witness. Her brow furrowed but supportive, whatever makes you happy. Baby. Whispers started, neighbors eyeing Jamal's truck. Sarah's co-workers side-eyeing her border. Small-town vines, twisting tight. Weeks blurred into a rhythm of stolen moments, late-night drives on back roads. Jamal teaching Elias to change oil under his beat-up Ford's hood. Grease-smeared kisses in the garage's dim glow. Elias bloomed under it, confidence unfurling like spring weeds. Coming out to his mom over pie one Sunday, her hug fierce. Tears proud. I knew. Honey. And I love you fiercer for it. Jamal, though, held back. Walls high from past burns. I'm not locking you in, he'd say when Elias pushed for more. For labels. For forever. But I'm not running either. The kinks came sharp. A church picnic. Sarah's invite out of habit. Turned ambush Pastor Hale. A bull of a man with Elijah's father's echo in his sermons. Cornering Jamal. Heard you're bunking with the Hawthorne boy. Keep your hands clean, son, or we'll pray you out. Jamal's fists balled. Elias stepping between. Voice steady, touch him. And you answer to me. The crowd murmured. Eyes like daggers. But Jamal pulled him away. Jaw tight. Don't. He warned later. In the truck's cab. Rain sheeting the windshield. You fight my battles. You get hurt. I'm not fragile. Elias shot back, climbing into his lap. Defiant. And you're not alone. The makeup was raw clothes shed in the truck bed under stars. Bodies moving with the urgency of defiance. Jamal's whispers of mine branding skin. But dawn brought reality. An anonymous note slipped under the door. Sodom's spawn. Leave or burn. Fear coiled. But so did resolve. Elias dove deeper into the past. The diary's clues leading to a hidden Hawthorne letter in the library's archives. Elijah's suicide note. Unsent. Begging Jamal's forgiveness. He loved you. Elias told Jamal that night. Over takeout in the kitchen. I love you. The words hung. Jamal's fork pausing. Eyes glistening. Kid Eliasiri killing me. He stood. Chair scraping. And fled to the porch. Rain soaking him through. Elias followed. Diary in hand. Read it. Please. Jamal did. Under the porch light. Pages trembling. When he looked up, the walls crumbled. I remember. He choked. Flashes the jail. Your face at the bars. Tears I thought were pity. He crushed Elias close. Kiss desperate. Rain mingling with sobs. You freed me then. Too late. This time. God. This time. Their love deepened. Roots digging into Ohio clay picnics by the river. Jamal's shop job landing after the appeal cleared his name. Elias acing history finals with essays on reclaimed narratives. But the town festered. Vandalism hit, tires slashed on Jamal's truck. Faggot keyed into the door. Threats escalated. Hale's flock emboldened by election year hate. One night, rocks through the window, glass shattering like Elijah's world. Sarah barricaded them in, calling cops who dragged feet. Kids being kids. Jamal wanted out. We'll go. Start fresh in the city. But Elias refused. No running. We face it. He rallied a town hall speech. Voice shaking but steel. Love isn't sin. Hate is. Jamal's my heart. Past and present. Judge that. The room split, claps from the young. Hisses from old guard. Jamal stood beside. Hand in his. Unbreakable. The climax brewed in Hale's shadow. A rally. Anti-LGBT banners waving. Hale ranting fire. Jamal and Elias attended. Not to protest, but witness until Hale targeted them. Microphone blaring. That Reed boy. Corrupting our youth. The crowd surged. Fists flying. Jamal shielded Elias. Taking a blow to the ribs. Blood blooming on his shirt. Chaos sirens wailing. Elias screaming Jamal's name as they dragged him away. In the ER. Stitches and ice packs. Jamal grinned through pain. Told you I'd hold your heart. Elias wept. Vowing. Never let go. Charges flew. Hale's arrest for incitement. The town fracturing. Allies emerging from cracks. Sarah rallied neighbors. Pride flags sprouting like defiant flowers. Months healed wounds. Scars remained. Beautiful badges. Graduation came Elias valedictorian. Speech weaving past lives into hope. We free what we love. And in freeing, we find ourselves. Jamal waited offstage. Ring box hidden simple band. Engraved JR and EH. Marry me, he whispered post-ceremony. Under oak boughs heavy with memory. This life. All of them. Yes. Elias breathed. Kiss sealing eternities. They drove west. Cincinnati lights welcoming. A new chapter unbound. In the rear view. Ohio faded not forgotten. But redeemed. Love. The ultimate key. Had unlocked them both hearts held. Forever free.